Hey guys, Roland from ReveMoto. So I'm glad you guys are back with us on this episode of sealing, base coating, and clear coating. But if you guys haven't watched those videos on the equipment usage, safety usage, and also the prepping process, the link is down below. Go ahead and watch those first before you guys get started on this one. So let's go ahead and get started on sealing, base coating, and clear coating. So let's go ahead and get into this paint booth. Alright guys, before we get into the paint booth, remember, safety first, okay? So let's put on our paint suit. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the paint booth. Alright guys, so today we're going to be painting our test panel right here. It's going to be an end cap for a 2020 Toyota Tundra. And it's going to be painted 1D6. Let's go ahead and, first of all, we got to test our gun first, making sure it's dialed up correctly. So let's go to our high-tech testing area. Piece of paper.
Oh my God! Wow!
All right, so before we get started, we gotta dial up our gun, making sure that the fan pattern is correct. Okay, so if you guys come over here, on most guns, the fluid, you kind of just, once it tightens up, go ahead and release. And then put like a half rotation and then lock it into place. Okay? And then right here, the fan, that's gonna be fully open. And then over here, you're gonna go ahead, this is gonna be the air inlet. I like to have that open also. Okay? Alright, so for you guys to see a little bit better, we switched over to a better area in the paint booth so you guys can see the patterns a little bit better. But first, you're gonna go ahead and get the air pressure right. So for us, we like to spray at 32 on this gun. So ours is going to be regulated on the wall. So as you guys can see, this one's digital. So when you guys have your test panel right there, have your pinky right here and your thumb extended, and the pinky should be onto the panel, and then your gun tip should be right there onto your thumb, okay? That's a good area that most painters are painting at the distance on the panel. And then just go ahead and spray all the way down. So you guys can see it's kind of like an oval. And it's kind of splattered a little bit, so I'm going to adjust just a little bit right there. And I may even lower the pressure. Okay, so let's try it again. This one's pretty consistent. I like it. So you don't want too much buildup on the middle or on the top. So if you have like a weird shape, it's not an oval shape, then it's pretty much you got to change your settings either on the fluid or on the PSI level. Okay, so I kind of like that one. You can also test it out by doing a row. So as you guys can see, the overlap is 50%, and it's pretty even right there. All right, guys. So right now we're gonna go ahead and spray down, well not spray down, air out the panel again. I do that just in case like something fell down on the panel, all that debris removes before I spray the sealer. Okay, so now I'm gonna spray the sealer. Alright, so on this, depending on what kind of cup you guys are using, this one's gonna be a D cup, and it's a plastic liner, so you gotta turn it upside down so all the air goes away. You guys kind of see like it went away? Alright. So before you guys start painting, you gotta analyze the panel and have a game plan basically. So for me, I like to paint inside the fog light holes first. I like to go around to the sides and then I do the face, okay? We try to do like a 50-50 overlap. on all panels. If you guys notice, when I'm spraying inside there, my trigger pull is only like halfway, okay? I'm not all the way down because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put too much material in there and it's gonna start dripping basically. So if you guys kind of look over the panel, you'll see like it's an even coat. So that means that you did a good job on putting the first sealer on there, okay? And depending on your sealer and the weather condition, right here we're kind of around 75, 80 degrees. So we're gonna let it sit in the, well, we're gonna let it flash off for at least like 10, 15 minutes. You guys see that glossy look? All right, so what you're trying to achieve is like a matte look. So we're gonna wait like 10, 15 minutes and come back in the paint booth and lay our first base coat, okay? All right guys, so right here, as you guys can see, it's matte look. It doesn't have that glossy look anymore, and it's already flashed off. So flashing off just means the dry time between coats. And if you guys want to do a test, touch it right here or anywhere. And if your fingerprint you don't leave a fingerprint mark, it's pretty much dry, okay? And the reason why we do like sealers, putting a sealer down on there, whenever you sand down, you might break through like layers of like the E-coat. That gives the sealer, when you put the sealer down, it evens out like all of the sand scratches, the fine sand scratches, and also when you break through it, it kind of like puts a coat on that, okay? So now you have an even coat throughout the whole panel, so you can lay the base coat down, okay? And this is also a good time before you lay down the base coat to check for any imperfection or debris. Like right here, we got a small little debris. So you always want to sand down with 600 grit, okay? Nothing finer and nothing more coarse than that. So some of you guys might have some questions about do I go primer on this? So this one right here, I already had a under layer of regular paint, so I don't have to put primer on it. But if I broke through like the layers of paint and layers of sealer and the primer, yeah, you want to put another primer coat on there so you can make sure like it has that adhesion on it. But this one has complete adhesion. So now we're going to go ahead and lay the base coat. Alright, so when you guys have your base coat right there, agitate it, making sure all of the base coat or the toners are all mixed up. So right there, just kind of shake it up. I'd say like around like 30 seconds to a minute, just to agitate all of it all together. Alright, when you lay your first base coat, making sure you don't put it on too heavy. I'd say like a light to medium coat would be a perfect amount of paint to put on the first coat, okay? And always follow the steps that you guys did before, making sure your process is always the same. So I did the fog lights first, I went around to the sides, and then I went to the front of the face. If you guys keep that same process, you're never gonna miss an area when you're painting, okay? also, guys, whenever you're painting, making sure you don't overstretch, move around with the panel, so you guys can have a very comfortable stance, basically. And also, your distance from the panel is always the same way. Okay, don't go too close, and then pull back when you get scared. Just go ahead and keep that consistent. I say become a robot. Become very consistent with the panel. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let this flash off for 10 minutes and come back to the paint booth and layer that second base coat. We're gonna go ahead and layer our second coat, and this time we're gonna go a little bit heavier, like a medium coat on the second pass. Alright guys, if you guys take a look at the panel now, I layered that second coat a little bit more heavy, like a medium coat. So you guys can see it's kind of like, now it's almost an even coat. It doesn't have like that modeling or like that blotchiness look to it. So again, let it flash between base coats. So between the first and second coat, make like a 10-15 minute adjustment or dry time. And then after that, we're gonna go ahead and let it flash off again for another 10-15 minutes. Again, you gotta make sure your temperature, you're watching the temperature in the paint booth or outside. If it's too cold, wait a little longer. If it's too hot, if it's a little, like 100 degrees or more, you can actually go onto this panel a little bit faster. So it depends on the temperature, okay? But right now we're waiting 10-15 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and layer our third base coat. That should be the final coat, but if not, we're gonna go ahead and check it with a sun gun. Alright guys, on the third coat, I got kind of heavy on it, so medium to heavy coat on the third coat, okay? So that gives it a little bit more even coverage. So let's go ahead and check this one with a stun gun. All right, so this one's called a sun gun. This is a little bit expensive. You can guys get a little bit cheaper one, but basically what this thing does is that it mimics the ray of the sun, okay? So remember, your car's always outside, so let me kind of blinding. But if you don't have something like this, get an iPhone and turn on your light. That should work too. All right, so let's go inside the paint booth. All right, so the coverage there is really good. We don't need another layer. Alright guys, so now we're going to go into the clearing process. You never want to use the same gun you used to seal or base coat the panel. So we're going to go ahead and change that gun out to a new gun. So we're going to have this other gun right here that's specifically used for clearing, okay? And before you guys clear and use this gun, make sure this gun is clean. Everything's working properly. Same thing, go through the same process. Do a test panel. Making sure like the gun is has a fan pattern correct, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and use this new gun. But But if you guys really have to use the same gun, because you know not a lot of us can afford multiple guns basically, go ahead and get this gun, clean it all the way through, okay? Like actually take off the cap, do like all of the deep cleaning, and the link is up above to show you guys how to do a deep cleaning on the gun, okay? Because you don't want to have any metallics or any color while you guys are clear coating, because that's gonna mess up your whole paint job. All right guys, so now we're in the final step, okay? We're in the finish line. So when we're in the finish line, we're doing that clear coat. You don't want to mess up at this point, okay? So first, you're gonna check the panel, see if there's any debris that you guys have to sand down, and then also lay another base coat on it. If there's any issues with the paint, that's the time to fix it before you guys do the clear coat. You know, lunchtime, if you guys had that bad burrito, you know, had the extra helping of beans and your stomach's kind of feeling a little groggy, it's time to use the restroom before you go in there and clear. So again, everything, all that distractions, once you guys start clearing, it's game over, okay? You don't want to redo the panel because you worked so hard to get to this point, okay? So take your time on the clear and let's get started. All right guys, I'm gonna put 2 coats on here. The first coat, we're gonna wait 10-15 minutes before we layer the second coat, okay? When you layer the first coat, just do like a light coat on it. Basically the light coat is what we're trying to do. We try to tack it off, or let's see, so the first coat is an introductory coat. So basically that means that it bonds to the panel, and whenever we layer the second coat, it doesn't drip, okay? Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and layer the second layer and the final layer. You can go a little bit more heavy on this one, so medium to heavy coat. Alright guys, on this episode we showed you guys how to seal, base coat, and clear coat. Alright, so to recap, a couple things that you guys have to look out for is making sure that your gun is dialed up correctly. Whenever you guys are sealing, that the sealer lays down flat and there's no debris before you guys base coat. And then when you guys base coat, wait between flashes. So basically flashes between coats, that you guys have to let that base coat dry out so the solvent can come out, okay? And then before you guys clear, making sure that you guys go over the whole panel again, making sure there's no debris or any imperfection that'll show up in the clear coat, okay? Then after that, you guys go ahead and clear, making sure everything is smooth and clear twice, okay? Hey guys, I do want to thank you again for watching our great videos. If you guys need any parts for your vehicle, the ones that you guys see in our videos, or anything else, go to ReveMoto.com, your pre-painted auto body parts source. We sell bumpers, taillights, headlights, touch-up bottles, everything that you need for your vehicle. Go to ReveMoto.com, your pre-painted and accessories parts store. Also, go ahead and like, subscribe, and turn on your push notification for more great videos like this one. Thank you.